Shannon Sharpe is absolutely hating on Joe Burrow. I'm sorry. So on ESPN's First Take yesterday, Shannon Sharpe was debating Dan Orlovsky about how much blame should be put on Joe Burrow for losing against the Steelers on Sunday. And just in case you need a reminder, Joe Burrow threw for over 300 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He did have 2 fumbles, but he also completed 74% of his passes. By all accounts, he had a very good game at the least. But Shannon Sharpe was just real quick to absolutely thrash Joe Burrow. His main reason was essentially because Joe Burrow is supposed to protect the ball and not put it in harm's way. His first example was the strip sack that TJ Watt got on him.
TJ Watt reaches with his left hand. This is a great play by TJ Watt. If Joe had it in one hand, Shannon, we could have a different conversation. That's a great play by
protect the ball.
That's a great. He is.
No, he's not.
There's nothing else he could do in that moment except
go ahead.
Look, I'm so sorry. I just don't understand where Shannon Sharpe is coming from here. I mean, what else could Joe Burrow have possibly done? He has both hands on the football. TJ's behind him. If anything, it was a great play by TJ Watt. That's not on Joe Burrow. He's freaking behind him. I'm sorry, but I'm with Dan Orlovsky all the way on this one. That fumble does not fall on Burrow whatsoever. It was just a great play by TJ Watt.
You're pinning yesterday on Joe?
Hold on. This is what I know. He says he has to play at his best. If your defense can't stop anybody, what can't you do as an offense?
Shannon,
No, don't say Shannon. That's my name. I know my name. Even they gave me a name tag and everything. If your defense can't stop anybody, what can't you do at the quarterback position?
A lot of things. One, you can't not score.
You can't turn the ball over.
Shannon, there's nothing he could do. The interception is tipped twice. The interception is tipped twice. It got tipped by the defense, and it goes off T. Higgins. T.J. Watt makes a great play. There's nothing the quarterback can do there other than be Hercules in the moment. The sack fumble, he goes 1, 2, 3, balls coming out. He can't see behind him.
So in other words, anytime the quarterback. So now moving forward, Stephen A., what we can do, if we like said quarterback, there's nothing he could do. The ball got tipped. He got strip sacked. He was protecting the ball. He had both hands.
I mean, I'm so confused. I don't know what this man has against Joe Burrow, but I mean, let's just talk about the season that Joe Burrow is having right now. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals as a whole. In case any of you weren't aware, the Bengals have one of the worst defenses in the entire league. Their defense allows over 28 points per game. The only team that allows more in the entire NFL is the Carolina Panthers. So we've established that their defense is absolutely horrendous. It's horrible. How has Joe Burrow played? So we are now 13 weeks into the NFL season, and Joe Burrow is leading the league in passing yards, leading the league in passing touchdowns with 30, and oh yeah, he only has 5 interceptions, completing 67% of his passes. I'm sorry, like Joe Burrow is having an MVP caliber season. The only reason he's not even being discussed is because his team has such a terrible record, and that's not because of him. Shannon Sharpe saying that Joe Burrow has to not put the ball in harm's way is absolutely ridiculous when, again, you consider the fact that he's only thrown 5 picks on 30 touchdowns. That's a 6-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That's elite. I mean, hell, Joe Burrow even said it himself. He literally has to play damn near perfect every single game just for his team to have a chance to win. I mean, if we could just think about this for 1 second, if the Bengals had even just a middle-of-the-road defense, like middle of the NFL, how much better would Joe Burrow's numbers actually be? Because it's guaranteed that he would get the ball more, he would have more opportunities to throw it, more opportunities to score. There's a very legitimate argument that could be made that Joe Burrow is having this MVP caliber season in spite of how bad the Bengals are. How bad they are on defense. Obviously, their offense is great. Now look, I can understand that some people may find Joe Burrow a little bit overhyped after, he took the Bengals to the Super Bowl. I can understand that to a certain extent, but listen, the tape and the numbers don't lie. This dude is one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league.
How many quarterbacks you taking over Joe Burrow?
I tell you what, I'm taking a bunch up right now. I'm taking Josh Allen, I'm taking Jared Goff, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes, I'm taking Lamar Jackson, because guess what?
I don't know about that Jared Goff one.
Hold on.
Shannon,
There is absolutely no chance that you would take 5 quarterbacks ahead of him. He is a top 5 QB. That is just undeniable. He clearly plays the position as well as anybody in the league. The problem is his defense is so bad. He has to be some kind of superhuman just to give him a chance to win. And all of this coming from Shannon Sharpe, one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game of football. For him to just be targeting Joe Burrow and saying like, oh, he's not playing that well, or oh, it's his fault that they're losing these games. It's just unbelievable to me. Because if this defense was like top 20, top 15 in the league, then they would probably be a 500 or at least slightly above a 500 team in the entire NFL. And Joe Burrow would be right in the MVP conversation with Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley. Joe Burrow is the last reason why the Bengals have had such an awful season. It's obvious to me that he has done everything that he can to get them in a winning position, but their defense basically gives them no chance. Now, if he had like, I don't know, 11, 12 interceptions with his 30 touchdowns, then maybe I can understand where Shannon is coming from. But he doesn't. He only has 5. That proves he is taking care of the ball. He isn't putting it in harm's way nearly as often as Shannon wants to believe. And again, keep in mind, Shannon Sharpe knows a lot more about football than I do. So it's just so mind-boggling for him to come to this conclusion, because if you're watching the games and you're watching this dude play, there's no logical way that you could possibly blame him. And that's why it just comes off as hating for me. But I don't know. That's just what I think about it. Let me know in the comments what you think. You think Shannon is hating, or do you think he's valid for what he's saying about Joe? Either way, let me know in the comments. Let's chop it up. And until next time, peace.